So good noon everyone and welcome back to PPS Lab sessions. Till now we have completed number of programs, and in the previous session we were going through few function and recursion related programs. Along with that we have seen global variable, static variable usage, right? And with recursive call we have seen how we can calculate this series and all. So that was related to functions and recursion and static variables and all. Now for today, we want to go for the next point and the structure, which is we have just completed today in the lecture part also. So we'll go for the programs related to structures today. Let's discuss those programs and then you may complete your programs one by one. So let's go through all the programs one by one here. So 49th program says, write a program to read structure elements from keyboard. A very basic program that you have to implement here. You just have to define one structure, then declare a variable for that structure, initialize that variable with some values. Oh no, here we need to have it from keyboard. So what you can do is you define one structure. Now which structure you can decide it by yourself. जो आपको सही लगे आप एक स्ट्रक्चर ले लो. स्टूडेंट ले सकते हो, फैकल्टी ले सकते हो, डिपार्टमेंट ले सकते हो, कंपनी ले सकते हो. Anything that comes to your mind, an entity which can have number of attributes, you can say it can be a structure, right? A person can also be a structure. Person has a name, date of birth, address, phone number, and so on, height, weight, and so on, right? So anything you select, you define a structure, and then what it says, you need to read those elements from keyboard. So go for number of scanf functions or scanf statements. Ask user to enter those values and then you print it. Simple. Remember, you need not to have a function here. Need not to. अगर आप बनाते हो तो वो भी चलेगा. I don't have any problem. Okay. So here you need to have one structure. Ask user to enter those values and then you print it. That's your 49th program. Then 50th program says define a structure type struct personal. So यहाँ पे personal structure आपको बनाना है. ये नाम पहले से दे दिया. You need to go for struct personal. Even उसके साथ you have been given members here. So that structure would contain person name, date of joining, and salary. Well, person name will be going to be the character array, right? Salary is obviously going to be the float. We don't bother about paisa. So in that case, if you still want to have it integer, you can. But look, integer has a range, right? In 32-bit operating system, if integer is of the 2 bytes, then the maximum value that you can store inside integer variable is going to be 32767, 32,607, 32767, 767 rupees, right? 32,767 will be the largest value inside integer you can store. If you go for unsigned integer, then that becomes double, 65535, 65,535. But if you want to store a salary which is more than this, then definitely you have to go for float. Okay. So depending on your requirement, you decide. Person name is going to be character array. Salary is going to be float. Now for date of joining, one way is you can have the date in the string format, character array. तो आप करो बीच में स्लैश या तो हाइफन साइन लोगे, dd/mm/yy. So that is going to be the string. Or you have to decide by yourself what format you want date should be. तो DDMMYYYY अगर आपको चाहिए तो आप नंबर भी ले सकते हो, float. Or else what you can do is you can create a nested structure here. For date of joining, you can have a nested structure where there will be DD, date in terms of integer, then month in terms of integer, year in terms of integer. So that's up to you. आप कुछ भी कर सकते हो. I'm not fixing this thing. You can go for nested structure, or you can go for float, or you can go for string. आपको जो लेना है ले सकते हो. So in this 50th program, you define one structure called personal, which will be having person name, date of joining, and salary members. Now then you need to read this information. Now when it says read, user के पास से get करना है तो scanf करोगे. But these information must be for 5 people. तो अब यहाँ पे आपके लिए ये जो स्ट्रक्चर है उसके 5 वेरिएबल आपको लेने होंगे. Okay, and then you need to ask user to enter those 5 person details, and then you have to print those also. So define a structure, then get those values for 5 people and print it. Table format में आप print करना चाहो तो कर सकते हो. Now just like this way, 50th program, 53rd program is also the similar kind, where it says design a structure student underscore record. ये structure का नाम है. So you have to define a structure called student record, which contains name, branch, and total marks. Name must be string, branch must be string, total marks must be float. So there are 3 members. And then it says develop a program to read data and print it. So यहाँ पे भी वही था, read it and print it. Now in 50th program you were having 5 people. In 53rd program you have 10 students. That's the only difference, and the structure member difference. So both are similar programs. So what I suggest is, look, in terms of 53rd program, 10 students, you can take array. 53rd program, you can take array of a structure variable, and here you may go for 5 separate variables. Okay. Still, if you take array, then मुझे कोई problem नहीं है. You can take array also. Okay. So 50th program and 53rd program we have discussed. And then the 51, it says define structured data type called time underscore struct. तो ये structure का नाम दे दिया. You have to define a structure called time underscore struct, which contains 3 members inside: integer hour, then integer minute, and integer second. So there are 3 members: hours, minute, and seconds. And then you have to write a program that would assign values to individual member. Okay, one by one तीनों member में कुछ value assign कर दो. And then when you go and display those values, you just need to follow this format: hour, colon, minute, colon, seconds. So this is how you should print your members of a structure. That's it. Just a printing format. अगर आपको याद है लेक्चर में मैंने जब ऑथर का नाम प्रिंट किया था तो फर्स्ट नेम स्पेस सेकंड लास्ट नेम एंड देन इनटू द ब्रैकेट एज हमने प्रिंट की थी. नाउ दैट वाज द फॉर्मेट. सिमिलरली हियर you can go for hours, minutes, and seconds and follow this format. Right? So these 4 programs I want you to complete today: 49, 50, 51, and 53. Now 52nd program we will look at in a next lab session, because it is somewhat complex. Okay? So that we will cover in the next lab. So today you are going to complete 4 programs, 49, 50, 51, and 53. And I'm not going to show you any of these. Very basic structure related programs are these. So you can refer recordings of lectures. Just today also in the lecture session, we have defined a structure and we used that structure. So I believe you all are clear with the structure and you are able to perform all these 4 programs. Okay. So that's all from my side. Now, if you have any queries or questions, you can ask. I'm looking at the chat box. So if you do have any query, you may ask, or else you may start doing these programs one by one. Yeah, also post your enrollment numbers for attendance purpose. So your numbers will be recorded in the chat. Post your enrollment numbers and then start performing these programs one by one. If you have any query, you may ask also. Now, one more point. Remember, you have few deadlines in Google Classroom. Please do follow those deadlines. Do not miss anyone. And once you complete these 4 programs, make sure that you write those programs also. So later on, when I ask you to upload, you can. Yeah, so hopefully everyone has posted their name, sorry, not name, numbers. I'm going to stop this recording now. We don't want unnecessary recording here, but I'm here. Complete your programs. At any point of time you feel there is a difficulty, you may concern me. We'll solve the problem and try to complete programs by end of this lab session. Okay. So I'm going to stop this recording now and you start performing your programs.